Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel here today. Today we're going to be reacting to episodes 17 and 18 of the Apothecary Diaries. Very excited to be back on the journey here again with Mau Mau and Co. Last week was a bit of a more subdued one, but hey, that's probably set up for a less subdued one this episode, we would say, especially with that 2-episode buffer as well. I'm confident something will happen, which hey, maybe that'll get us a little bit further than last week, potentially. I lamented last week's video, if I'm honest. I didn't feel like it was a good enough upload. But anyway, we're trying to rectify that here today. Again, we're gonna stop talking about it, and that's the first step on the road to recovery, I guess. What button do I even hit anymore? Where's my YouTube comments? There they are. Okay. Either way, got the YouTube comments up here ready to go. First comment here from Bamps. Oh man, we're going to have a makeover party. Yeah, that'll be our setup for this episode, of course. We need to do Jinchi's makeup for reasons. Gaoshun has brought up something. That is going to be this episode's plot. I wonder if that'll tie into the Lacan stuff. Almost certainly, considering it's the most pertinent thing in the plot right now, but I digress. We'll see this episode, of course. I agree that this felt like a setup episode. In the past, I've had similar feelings. Remember that stuff with the brothel, where there was the kid and they were trying to murder the guy? I felt like that stuff was kind of ancillary in the moment, right? But I came back around to it by the very end. It's actually very important to demonstrating Mau Mau and her, I guess, proclivities to exclude herself from situations where she feels like she's getting too involved and that kind of stuff, and it may lead to her downfall eventually. But again, should she do something? Should she stay hidden? It's about achieving that balance, and again, those episodes get that across quite well. Now, I'll be very surprised if this metalworking episode does the same thing, but I have been surprised before by the show. Bamps here has a very pragmatic view of the episode, I would say, in that potentially Lacan is looking to improve the metalworking operations and fix this problem for his own desires as I think he's the chief strategist or something to that effect. So it would be in his best interest to have that kind of stuff online, and is just kind of employing Mau Mau's talents in doing so, kind of two birds, one stone type areas. Potentially. There's potential for that. Again, if I was to project forward with what's going on here, I think that Lacan's being kind of a weirdo. He wants a version of this courtesan from Verdigris House that he had before, that was this kind of pretty shrewd character, but he couldn't buy her out. He couldn't possess her. So he took her out for everybody. Fair enough. Well, not fair enough, but you know what I mean. I think he sees Mau Mau now as a very similar person, and a person that he can potentially possess, and whatever that means. And that may be the direction he's going with everything going on here. I think that's a direction we could go. And not a particularly comfortable direction either. Either way, final comment here today from Pencil Sharp. Going into a few things here, so pre-industrial paper and glass were expensive to make, thus when we see the fishbowl and that kind of stuff, Mau Mau's pretty impressed by it because it's not something you see every day like you see it every day for me, right? So when she's thinking fishbowl, that's why she's thinking ceramic instead of the glass. And the glass would be expensive, thus that's why the guys are a little bit jealous of the younger brother as well, I guess. I think this is probably a fair view as well. The visualization of the mystery makes it easy to figure out. Obviously less obvious in the text form where this was originally written. Obviously, this stuff is pretty important, otherwise they would have just skipped it, but maybe we can empathize with the perspective that this was first written down before it was visually executed, I guess. I have an example of this in adaptation as well, where mysteries kind of fall apart when they're adapted. Danganronpa, the first case there, it's exceptionally easy in English, where it wouldn't have been as easy in Japanese, obviously. Because again, I don't want to go into it, but there's some numbers and you turn them upside down and it's very easy. And again, listen, we don't need to go into it, but I can sympathize with adaptation ruining mysteries, I guess. And this is definitely, I missed this last week, this is definitely the case. So Mau Mau is listing the father's symptoms and recommending Luoman at the end because probably the injuries are as a result of lead or antimony poisoning. Either way, the metalworking and that kind of thing led to his demise ultimately, right? So that's why you end up recommending the doctor, because hey, you're probably going to need it if you go down a similar path. It's probably because of his work that he ended up dying the way that he did. So ultimately, you will suffer the same fate. Ultimately, I hope you have a good family unit around you that can rally around you when that happens. Either way, we'll drop it there. Yeah, I don't know. What do I normally do? Patreon. Let's do that. As always, if you wanted to be that 1 week ahead, of course, the Patreon is available to you. You can become a patron for $6 and get episodes 1 week early. Next week probably should be 19 and 20, you would think. So if those are particularly important episodes to you, you can pay for them now. Many people have done this, up to and including Mickey Babbers, Trials++, Bobbin, Chobo Ribby, Domobot, Ed, Fancy Question Mark, Fleur Nightingale, Fried Rice, Fruit, Gloriana Tenebrae, Glyke, Gus N, Heath, Hex, Ika, Yako Yavanen, Joran, Kelvin, Kimskell, Clem, Nosta, Cot Begemot, Lou, Mish, Mistake Chen, Nailu, Parnik, Pencil Shop 333, Ron Lad B&K, St. Lily, Sal, Sam1373, Skeleton, Vueko, Without a Net, Zan Echo, Zach, Binshi, Hans Peter, Marsh, Voodoo Chili, Aidan O'Brien, Funny Fat Guy, and Yuno Meme. Thank you to all those people for giving me money, of course. I really do appreciate it. As I talked about before, last week, not a lot there. Clearly the stuff we're leading on with is this Jinshi makeover thing, keeping in mind Lacan being a vaguely villainous presence in the background, keeping in mind, I guess, what's her name? Oh my god. Lao Lan, I believe, the other consort, the new one, keeping in mind her in the back pocket as well as, again, this Lacan story with the courtesan and that kind of stuff. Remember the mound, and remember the tall girl. That is stuff we still need to remember as well. So yeah, I mean, we'll leave it there. We'll jump into episode 17 of the Apothecary Diaries right now. Let's do that. Rightio, episode 17 of the Apothecary Diaries, up there ready to go. 22 minutes and 50 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly with your own copy, of course. Or there's a picture-in-picture version in the description below. I'm using the subs please version. Should be very similar to everything else that's out there. And yeah, let's give it a 3, 2, 1 and jump right in. Rightio, 3, 2, 1, go. I'm a bit frazzled today. Stuff's a little bit all over the place. I don't feel like I'm sitting in the right spot that I normally do. I don't know. I feel like it looks fine. And I am recording, which is good too. My microphone overall has been a little bit quiet lately as well. So I've turned it up in OBS. Hopefully it's fine. Anyway, we're going to try to focus on the episodes. And maybe that'll, take that kind of stuff away. You're hella evil, monocle guy. Love that segment. So simple. Love that segment too. Bit of man service, hell yeah. What is she grabbing onto there? It looked like it came out of the flower. Grabbing onto the light? I don't know. Even metaphorically, I can't even understand it. Alright, let's do makeup. Flowers. True. Many, many wars would occur. Okay, that's pretty funny. Oh, learning off me. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that. We are pretty successful in doing that from the previews. So he didn't tell you? But you end up coming along as well. A variety of flavors. A jaunt around town? Sounds jolly. Let's go. Yep. Sex on legs still. That's good. You just annoy me. Oh, the faces in the back. This is really fun. It's like the reverse makeover. You smell too good. Also, I was also poor. Hey, yo. Don't touch that guy. You gotta hit a balance. Classy. Oh shit. Yeah, great point. You gotta wear some stinky clothes. Jinshi's gonna stink it up. Holy fuck. He's gonna look gross as. Oil and salt. Oh, don't put that in. Oh, that's giving me the heebie jeebies. I don't like that. Uh, Mama's a freak. Take off all your clothes right now in front of me. Mmm. He's hot. Gonna make him fat. Give him a dad bod. Fair enough. The whole gang's working. Working overtime. Oh. We must alter his face then. Yeah. Yeah, she's going hard. Bit of tan. That's troll. Is everybody else in the room gone? Are they gonna let you do your little experiment? Oh, this is from the opening. Oh yeah, don't do that. He looks like Arduo. Yeah, I agree. Get rid of that. Nobody needs to look at that. Especially me. I've forgotten all about that theory. I'm not going to look at that at all. I'm pretty sure that's the joke there, that he looks like her. Ugh. He was working with the sword in one of those episodes. Yeah. Just forget about it, Mao Mao. I'm sure it means nothing. Was it piss? Hella piss. Spicy piss? Hell yeah. Drink up, big boy. It's a very fun scene. I'm enjoying this. Chubby bunny? Yeah, I mean, that's a different guy. Is his voice that different? It's a little bit deeper. Must be hard to have such natural beauty, you reckon? Okay. Interesting line. What are we doing? Accompany him on a jaunt. So, you must change your appearance. Oh yeah, he does sound different. I think it would be cute. Yeah, it's interesting that he's so resistant to this. I guess it's resistant to being alone with Jinshi, which is fair enough. Still freaked out by her. Very much so. That's good. Okay, let us go on our jaunt. Yeah, have posture like myself. Shijin. Jinka? I'm not calling you that. Oh, okay, this is a fun reversal. Yeah, great. So now you're the higher social status one and he's the lower social status one. That's like opposite day. I don't know, it's just fun. Oh, he's all over it. No, no summer. There you go. Perfect. Oh, he's loving it. What are we doing though? He'd look too hot. Just outside the pleasure district, you say? Huh. Huh. Okay, well, I guess my theory might be wrong about Basen. Seems to be more Gaoshun related. Unless this has to do with Lacan as well, I don't know. That's a hella big. We're both not allowed to do our normal stuff. It's opposite day. Indeed. Maybe he just doesn't care. I think he's going to be okay. He also has a huge garden, no? Probably has some vegetables and stuff. I'm thinking. Adorable. She's not very good at being the rich one, right? Being the master. I mean, of course I'll take that though. Whoa. Handhold. You can let go now. Oh, the cotton? Oh. It was the cotton, right? Okay, anyway. Camp? There you go, there's another little clue for you. You're figuring things out, I'm sure. Go on yourself. I guess he's got to keep watch. Of course. Bochan? He's having the time of his life. What an odd thing to say. I know the metaphor. Guys are talking about young Mau Mau. Did he reapply the cotton? Oh, yes, he got to eat. Hell yeah. We've talked about this. It's much for muchness. Oh, adoptive. There you go. They probably said that before somewhere as well. I care about my family. Ooh, very pragmatic. Both? Yeah, that's really suspicious. What a good question, Jinshi. Hmm. Oh, so he was a eunuch. Ooh, we're putting it all together. Hmm. But why do you care? Oh, he's got that Mau Mau pose going on. Nah, he's thinking. Well, there you go. Okay, some kind of brothel. It feels like you two are on different wavelengths in this conversation. What an odd question. Yeah, okay. Alright, we're putting it all together. Mm-hmm. Ooh. Yep, of course. Oh, I mean, hmm. Um, hmm. Does that mean what I think it means? I think that means what I think it means. Right? Right? Fuck. Okay, that's terrible. Okay, fuck. Oh no. Okay. That's pain. That's painful. I don't like that. Okay. That does mean what I think it means, right? Again, I'll let the ED end and then I'll explain what I think that means. Um, but yeah, it would fit with a lot of things. Also, again, that the placement in the scene and the gravity of it would imply that it means what I think it means as well. Well, now we know why Lacan's interested. More than normal. I'm receiving a phone call that I need to answer as well. Yeah, so, yeah, okay. And now a lot of Lacan. Ask somebody that knows that world. Oh, the lady's back too. I see. I'll make this phone call and then I'll come back. Hang on. Cool, so I'll get the next episode up shortly, but I just wanted to establish at least what I'm thinking at the moment is the implication of all of this. Okay, so let's lay it all out. Lacan had a previous relationship, in quotation marks, relationship, with a particular courtesan that he liked, right? She was a particularly high-value courtesan who still had her purity. She was still a virgin and that kind of thing. And obviously she cost a lot of money. Probably the most money, right? Lacan has mentioned previously how he would have loved to take her and that kind of thing, right? Well, maybe he did. Maybe he took her and then she became pregnant. And then now we're linking that into the courtesan that's in the annex, right? That's currently in a coma, and linking that into Mau Mau, right? That's Mau Mau's mother, and Lacan would be Mau Mau's father, right? Is that what we're doing here? That might be what we're doing here. Again, I don't know if that's a crack theory or not, but I'm pretty sure that's the implication of everything we're doing here, right? The specific line from Lacan as well, almost in a teasing manner, asks somebody who would know that world, that kind of thing. Mau Mau would potentially share various features, especially at this age, with the courtesan the last time Lacan saw her. Maybe potentially the coma that particular courtesan is in at the moment would have been as a result of the childbirth. I'm not an expert in that kind of stuff, but I know that there can be complications with childbirth. So yeah, I mean calling unwanted, let's say, without using the word, pregnancy, a poison, is definitely underselling it, I would say. That is way worse. Way, way worse. Okay. So again, that's my current theory. I don't know if that's correct or anything. But hey, on that cheery note, we have the next episode up there ready to go, of course. 22 minutes and 50 seconds on that one, so sync up accordingly with your own copy. Again, this is pure speculation. I don't know where that's if that's where we're going here, but it would make sense to me. Yeah, all the normal stuff. Picture-in-picture, subs, please. All that kind of stuff. Let's give it a 3, 2, 1. Radio. 3, 2, 1. Go. Now, getting the timeline correct as well with Luamen and what was happening at the Rear Palace at the time with Jinshi's birth and then Mau Mau's birth would be interesting. Because I want to know if potentially Luamen, he's the one that's what's the word? Oh my god. Being the midwife, I guess, for Mau Mau as well. Helping in the process of giving birth. Again, I'm sure a bunch of this stuff is going to be extrapolated upon here, but I'm pretty sure that that's why, again, the framing of that last kind of line of last episode is definitely implies that that's the big reveal, right? What I said before. Again. Sure. I may even include that little segment I just did in the picture-in-picture as well, because some people might miss that and not know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I remember. So the time of day changed? Did it? I don't really want to think about what I just spoke about, I don't think. Okay, bye. Yeah. Yeah, I see. I bet it is too. That's dark. But I mean, can you blame her? Probably not. Jesus. I don't really want to go there today, if I'm honest. Who the hell are you? Frig off. Don't want to talk to you. Oh, hello. Damn, what a terrible fate. I'd hate that. Yeah, seems intense, sure. I wonder why. I wonder what recent events would have possessed her to do so. Oh, so okay, we get a real good look here. I see. Not comatose. Just pretty close. And getting worse all the time. Yeah, what else are you supposed to do? Mm-hmm. I see. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is pretty generous, I would say. But also, like, she deserves it? I don't know. Everyone deserves a place to live. Again, now that hand there in the opening makes a lot of sense too, obviously. He's here? Thanks for letting me know. I didn't know that he was still welcome here. That man. Yeah, this is not tragic at all. Yeah, okay. This fucking sucks. This is terrible. I don't like that. That author? Mm-hmm. That's retirement age. Me neither, really. Dramatic, but probably not without merit. Yeah, a lot of people would really, really enjoy that. Me, pick me. Well, yeah, but I would like to know some more context. What was it all for? Oh, yeah, the sweet whatever. Yeah, from Lacan. Okay, bye. Focused on something else? How did you find my stash? Let me token peace. Well, yeah. If there's one thing she knows, it's that. Very official? You're in your happy place. Yeah, it's way more official. Yeah, you really are a weirdo. Oh, you're back. Okay. Sure. Hello, tall girl. Sure. Yeah. She most certainly was, near my good friend Lacan. Okay, now we're putting that together. That's good. No, it wasn't that she didn't like you. She didn't want you to be there. Forget that really important thing I just said. What are we cooking or something? We mentioned a ritual something before as well. Okay, start talking about this, yeah. Do you guys want to talk about that some more? No, don't let this guy in. I'm already confused. I don't need this guy messing me up even more. Shall we pick up the discussion from the other day? Thief. Mm-hmm. This guy fucking knows everything. Yeah. Cool. That's terrible. Yeah. I wished I was wrong. No, I'm gonna fucking murder you with a pickaxe or something. Beat him with hammers till he dies. I'm not meeting that freak. No, I'm not gonna do that. Oh, that was fucking sick. That was fucking awesome. Oh, I can't wait to get some freeze frames of those. Yeah, me neither. The only other time was maybe the makeup with yeah, the makeup. You know the scene. Yeah, what is this mound? She got your ass again. Coward punch incoming. Oh shit. Not the like little fucking hand sickle. What if Mao Mao just got murdered right now? I see. Well, she knows what she's doing. What the fuck? Yeah, surely you would know that something like that doesn't exist, but still grasping the opportunity. Yeah, fucking murder his ass or whatever you're planning. Get him. Kill him. Fucking kill him. Yeah, the tone here is like I'm gonna fucking murder the shit out of Lacan. Hey, I can help you. Do you want me to hold him down? I'll hold him down. Yeah, great scene. That was awesome. Oh, and that's it. That episode flew by. Okay, so I got soft confirmation on at least some parts of it, right? So again, you put two and two together, right? I lost my ability to love when I was in the womb. Lacan is my birth father. That other courtesan is like that. The timeline there about when Lumen left the Rip Palace. I think, yeah, again, what I'm thinking there is correct without tacit confirmation. Now I'm very interested in Sure, because again, she is at least a somewhat similar to Mao Mao, right? A pretty shrewd character that's, if not an apothecary, at least close, who is literally in the same place that Lacan is and would be aware of most of the shit that he does. So the craziest part is Lacan is still hanging around Verdigris' house and hasn't been fucking kicked out. Also, I don't know where the syphilis comes into it, but again, I'm not sure it entirely matters. Also, again, not particularly familiar with syphilis, I'm going to be honest with you. Especially in a 16th century context. Yeah, what are we doing next? Yeah, whatever that ceremony was, right? Somebody's gonna beat the shit out of her, and then that's Jinchi, right? So yeah, I think we'll leave it there for today. I'll go back through tomorrow and have another talk about things. To my knowledge, there weren't a couple of episodes that excelled in any particular production aspect. I thought they were both pretty solid, just like the rest of the show is solid. I think it's more about the reveals and the putting of things together and that kind of stuff. That's where the appeal is here, and how far-reaching that is for Mao Mao. and that kind of thing, right? How important it is for her specifically, how, again, I said the word arch nemesis before. That's even more so the case, I would say. Yeah, I will return tomorrow and we'll talk some more. Let's do that. And we're back the next day. That was a cheery set of 2 episodes there, of course. Yeah, not much else to say that I haven't already said, I would say. Just, again, confirmations that Lacan is who I think he is and so forth, and all that kind of stuff is nice. Broadly, I think the implication of that last scene we saw in episode 18 was that there is a murder plot about to take place. I think that's what's happening. Again, more to be revealed there. Obviously, this character of Sure is relatively new now that we actually know her name and a little bit more about her. Again, I've said this about a number of characters, but obviously playing off as a foil for Mao Mao in a lot of ways, right? Somebody that has, you would imagine, been slighted by Lacan in some fashion and now is planning to do something about that, I think, as opposed to Mao Mao, who is somebody who has been slighted by Lacan, basically predicates her entire life, if you wanted to be that way about it. And in contrast to Sure, Mao Mao is currently burrowing her head into the ground even more, trying to forget about it, trying to remain neutral, trying to remain calm, and all these other things. Clearly not a direction I think Sure is going. So I think that's a direction for sure. The other one I want to watch is Jinchi. Jinchi is making all of these meetings and doing all of these things for a reason. I currently don't know what that reason is. I think the preview as well as the opening, if I can just find that segment quickly. Yeah, this thing. I'm pretty sure Jinchi's everything is leading to whatever the hell this ceremony is here. There's a couple of things to watch. I believe Lacan has won over on him somehow. That is why Lacan is able to say the certain things that he says in the certain order that he says it and not get absolutely punished for it. Again, the both of them do know Jinchi's status, I guess. And again, that is also confirmation outside of Mao Mao that little fan theory is true as well. So that's fun. But Lacan has one over on him. Otherwise, Jinchi would have put the foot down, especially as it pertains to Mao Mao. So Lacan's got something on him. I feel like Lacan is forcing him in a certain direction. Maybe this ritual, whatever is happening here, is that direction. Maybe everything that he's doing in this episode or these episodes is predicated on that somewhat. Again, it's one to watch, and one that, again, I was kind of half paying attention to, if I'm honest. I found the Mao Mao Lacan stuff a little bit more interesting in that regard. As it seems to be trending with this show, I'm going to be trending away from talking about the symbolism of the show and the production and some elements of the art and so forth, and probably just start talking straight plot. It feels like a very plot-centric episode. There is still a few fun things at play metaphorically, but I don't believe they'll be the focus here. Again, we'll see. We're jumping back through here now. Let's go to the start of episode 17. Again, I said all that about talking about the episodes in a little bit more of a plot sense, but I see something almost immediately, right? I feel like this episode is setting up a... what's the episode called? It's called like a jaunt through the town or something like that. It's setting up this atmosphere of something that's very light and fluffy, almost fillery, right? That is not the case by the very end of the episode. I feel like the episode itself takes the audience on the journey of the characters through which they are blindsided by this horrific reveal, right? Mao Mao feels somewhat blindsided by what Jinchi's doing. She doesn't really know what's going on there, and Jinchi is absolutely blindsided, and the audience is, of the truth about the Mao Mao situation. Because then he has all the pieces. He can put it together. He puts what we put together in his head immediately, right? And again, this episode, especially these early portions, is all about, oh, this is fun time, fun, slice of lifey, ooh, fun subversion of, I'm the master and you're the servant and that kind of stuff. And, oh, let's put makeup on Jinchi. Oh, doesn't he look hot? And then, bang, blindsided by the very end. That there is most definitely purposeful, for sure. Another thing I've noticed here, Mao Mao seems to become more and more interested when he wants to become less beautiful, again, as a mirror for Mao Mao herself. I don't want to, again, I'm not projecting too far, but you can't help but read into the reason why Mao Mao wears the freckles and stuff now, right? Doesn't want to be assaulted by a man. Maybe something in her past or her family's past similar to that. That's terrible. Okay, that recontextualizes everything. The other one that I was thinking about at work yesterday as well is it kind of recontextualizes the first episode as well, and this explicit focus on mother and child, and Mao Mao feeling the need to step in upon a sick child, sick mother, that kind of vibe. It kind of again informs that kind of stuff when we see what her relationship with her own mother was like, and this recurring nightmare that she has. Yeah, quite a bit there that we're now backfilling, which is cool. Either way, progressing this portion of the episode, Jinshi wants to put makeup on to look like a commoner. He wants to be less beautiful. We wonder what the reason is, but when Mao Mao gets attached to something, she goes whole hog. That's why she's got the whole setup here, very elaborate. We go through quite the sequence here, getting Jinshi as ugly as possible. Yeah, there's the episode title, A Jaunt Around Town, of course. Yeah, again, I'll talk about it in a little bit more detail when it becomes very apparent, but Jinshi needing to dull his looks to be more like a commoner, and you needing to up your looks to be more like a master type, a higher social status type person. Yeah, there's definitely a lot in that with the kind of social class aspect of the show that I've been talking about. There definitely is something to uglying Jinshi up and his own insecurities about his own good looks and that being used by other people, and Jinshi not really valuing that himself as a character. I still think there's reveals in the future for Jinshi that will reinforce a lot of this stuff. Maybe even flashbacks that further reinforce this a little bit more. I don't know, but something like that is on the horizon. There's also reinforcement of the episode's themes here with this little conversation with Mao Mao about identifying good customers for brothels, and that's how she's kind of got this keen sense of smell, along with her apothecary stuff, of course. Even specifically here, we have, a real showy rich type person that has, type of guy that wears a lot of cologne, that kind of thing, right? Tends to be rich and has a lot of venereal diseases. Fair enough. You can think about, I guess, a real life analog for that. That's kind of funny. What's less funny is the mentioning of venereal diseases here with the syphilis stuff later on. That's definitely not as funny. But anyway, I digress. Again, as we'll continue to talk about with the episode, the explicit focus on social class here as well as it pertains to this, right? Jinshi, you're going to want to hit a happy medium here of, kind of between these two extremes almost. Of course, all this knowledge about how brothels work and so forth gets Jinshi to, again, think about this line from Lacan. You should direct that inquiry to someone who knows that world. Lacan's very tricky here. He knows Jinshi and what Jinshi will do here. There's a subtext to the conversation that's, hey, you should ask Mao Mao about this. And then, again, when pressed on the issue, he gets a really terrible answer. Again, you hold all the answers here. You hold all the cards. But again, you've got one over on Jinshi as well. Otherwise, Jinshi would smite you, I think. Even... he would even just, murder you. I think he would. Because, he cares about Mao Mao that much, right? But you have something on him that's very, very important. No matter what. So what is of value to Jinshi above Mao Mao right now? It's a very interesting conundrum. Again, we'll figure it out next week. I'm not going to dwell on it too much. This was the part that gave me the fucking ick, if that's what the kids call it. The oil and the salt in the hair to make it all fucking greasy and shit. I can't do it. I can't do hair like that. Dirty hair, ew. Fucking ew. I hate that. Comedically here, it feels like we're building off of a bit of a genre pastiche. Normally it would be, let's take the lower class person and doll them up to be higher class and that kind of thing. That's almost like a sitcom episode premise and that kind of thing. Us trying to do the opposite here is subversive in a pretty cool way. I like the flip there. Instead of putting nice clothes on, or get the stinky clothes instead of washing his hair, in this very similar pose here, where you'd be washing the hair like this kind of stuff, right? Oh yeah, cleaning the hair and that. We're making it more dirty. There is most certainly something in that, I would say. Now, I may be wrong here, but I had the theory with this scene in particular where Mao Mao gets all, I guess, gremlin-like and tries to apply the feminine makeup to Jinshi. Well, doesn't try, she succeeds in doing so. I thought that this was going to be bad insofar as, hey, he looks kind of like Arduo, so we can't let anybody see this. Again, put up a side-by-side, that would look pretty similar. That was the whole premise behind Mao Mao even making that connection in the first place, right? I think the joke here is more that, similar to the joke at the start of the scene where it's wars have been fought for beautiful maidens. If anybody saw this, then many wars would surely break out over, makeup to Jinshi. Yeah. I think that's the joke rather than my joke, but I guess both work. Again, isn't this fun? Isn't this goofy? I bet this tone's going to stay around the entire episode, I guarantee it. Again, we continue to tick them off as well, this scene, specifically that one shot of Mao Mao, Suren, and stupid Gao Shun. That was in the opening, so we're just ticking them off. Scenes that are in the opening, scenes that are in the opening. It makes me think that there may be a flashback to Verdigris house and that kind of thing. Back in the day, potentially, or more Mao Mao flashback stuff, more of her as a very young child, and so forth. So this is one of the first times I'll mention it, but there's too much smoke here for Mao Mao not to be thinking about stuff that she's going to tell us next episode, right? So she's already questioning the whole eunuch thing based on, okay, so he's got calluses on his hands, that means he was trained in the whole sword debacle. Not usually something that a eunuch needs to do. Again, you already have the connection, honey. You already made it. You just gotta believe in yourself. You just gotta believe your own little theory there. It's because he's not a eunuch, and it's because he's royalty. He's related to the emperor. Or he's the emperor's son. Again, continuing that old Mao Mao classic. There's no need to ask a silly question and like shutting that eye, right? No need to think about it. Don't think about it. What a silly thing to bring up. It's an entirely valid question that you should pursue. I'm being serious. I'm querying this spicy goo that we make Jinshi drink here to make his voice sound different. He definitely, the voice actor does his part of the equation, but I don't know how. Would this actually work, chat room? This one seems like pseudoscience weird shit. I tell you what, filling the cheeks with cotton like that mustn't be comfortable. And again, he obviously can't eat. He needs to take it out at a certain portion during the day. Yeah, just keeping like that in like your mouth. That's horrendous. We hit the Uno reverse card here on Mao Mao, of course. This was indicated from the previews as well, that hey, you'll need to be accompanying Jinshi, and that is your side of the equation. So you've had your fun where, you got to dole up Jinshi, or dole down, I guess. Now you're going to have to go through a similar process. Very, very fun. I like that. Really love the voice acting here from Aoi Yuki as well. Just hitting it out of the park as usual. Voice acting across the board in this show has been quite nice. So yeah, hey, let's put on the disguise. You're going to need to class up, doll up to be kind of the attendant, or the opposite of the attendant to Jinshi. Jinshi's your attendant, right? I think that's also predicated, I think it's like one of your daughter's clothes or something we say, and you're pretty well off, so, we need to make it natural. Hey, time to, makeover time, I'm kind of dropping my Suren theory as well, because it seems like we're playing her, I guess, intensity. I guess you'd call it a villainous edge, in a little bit more of a comedic tone. This doesn't seem like something you would now pursue dramatically. Again, I was getting undertones of this kind of stuff before, but it seems like, hey, if the show's going to treat it with levity, then I will as well. There is bigger fish to fry. There is more evil people for us to uncover and destroy. I'm sure Jinshi here is having the time of his life as well. He essentially gets to go out on a little date with his crush, so he's into it. There's also the whole Jinka name situation. I'm pretty sure there's some fun kanji at play there, you would say. We add on the word for flower at the end of his name. And I don't know what particularly a masculine or a feminine sounding name is in a foreign language, but I guess Jinshi doesn't sound particularly masculine. I don't know. It's kind of a vibe thing. Yeah, there's some fun stuff here. Again, just like, it's opposite day. Let's like reverse roles. And again, it's been a classic premise in a bunch of episodic shows for ages. It's been very, very good. You can't call him Jinka-sama. It needs to be Jinka. You can't fuck that up. And again, you get to call her Ojo-sama, I think you run with, which is very, very fun. From this line here, I now understand the planning. So if Mao Mao's going towards the pleasure district anyway, and you're going to a restaurant just outside of there, that now makes sense. And the specific wording that the Jinshi uses here, or should I say Jinka, is that he's meeting an old acquaintance at that restaurant. We're also now being watched by Basen, but apparently on Gao Shun's behest. Yeah, being a bodyguard for those two. Yeah, so again, one of my major theories of the past was that Basen was deeply involved with Lacan, like Lacan's little lackey boy or something to that effect, right? That seemingly is not the case based on this. You're getting direct orders from Gao Shun, so maybe you've been involved in that thing the entire time. I don't know. I guess it doesn't eliminate the other side of it, but definitely not the tack that I thought this character would take. There's also the implication here that they would need bodyguards, just maybe in case that they're recognized and get taken out or something. I don't know. I don't know why you would need a bodyguard here. This segment's just fun. It's a fun time. They're both doing the opposite of what they should do. So we have the example here of Jinshi leading the pack when the attendant should always be behind the master, right? Then we also have Mau Mau here that is shopping. She's like, oh, those look like some good radishes or something. They're fucking huge, by the way. What do you call them? Daikon or whatever, right? Yeah, you shouldn't be doing the shopping. You're the master type character. Again, just getting used to their roles. Very, very fun. Really love Jinshi's smugness here, and then Mau Mau's twinge of embarrassment about, again, I've been so good about telling you what to do, now you get to tell me what to do. Again, just fun. Oh, don't look at those characters in the background, though. That's bad. Don't, again, they're only on screen for half a second. Don't worry about it. Mau Mau starts talking about her dad, and there's a few interesting details. I also like Jinshi here getting butthurt that she isn't focusing on him as much and they're not talking on their date, which is fun. But I want to focus on the dad. Why does the dad, when he has a relatively lucrative profession and is a true professional and, you know, why does he live such a quiet life in a shack, in the pleasure district, in the slums? Why is he doing that? He could have, like, a good life. Why doesn't he advertise ever? Why does he try to stay hidden and so forth? I think, again, on one level, there may be a more tangible reason for this, where he doesn't want to be discovered and so forth, right? That he's here now and not there, where he used to be. But I think the other element of it is he wants the exact opposite of what he used to have. He saw what happened when he was important and made important decisions and what happened to the people around him. So now he wants to be... Well, he informed Mau Mau. He wants to be like that side of Mau Mau that wants to burrow the head, right? This is all too much effort. I'm not high class enough. If I get too involved, then I only danger the people around me. There's more to that story, of course, but again, seeing that, you grappling with that fact when so much of his philosophy has informed you. Even now, that same philosophy from the mother's side as well. What good came from her getting overly involved with these people of upper class as well? Not much. Not much good happened there. In a lot of ways, wanting the life of a side character, just boring and peaceful, you know? Yeah, I kind of understand where Mau Mau's coming from here. Anyway, after all that depression, fun moment here where we get to eat chicken skewer. So at least there is some good things in life. I like this frame, actually. Of course, this is that very cliched scene where the character from the upper class has something that is generally meant for the lower class. Something character swaps with a prince and then the prince eats a hamburger and realizes that it's fucking nice or whatever. Pretty cliche. I think, again, where the enjoyment here comes is our, you know, knowledge of the characters and our closeness there, as well as Mau Mau's deductions here. So Jinshi mentions that he had a similar thing at camp. Well, why are you going to camp if you're a eunuch? I thought that kind of thing was for soldiers. Wonder Watch, you're figuring things out. I'm sure you put all the pieces together next episode, in episode 19. Next, here we have a scene that I would say is relatively out of left field. It seems to be reinforcing this thing that we've already enforced before with Jinshi, about his thing with the toys and getting attachment to certain toys and so forth. Mau Mau being, again, coded as a toy in this little metaphor. Is that entirely fair? Do the higher classes toy with the lower classes? Are servants nothing more than toys? How do we relate that into the brothel stuff as well? Anyway, can of worms for sure with that little metaphor, but it's already been established. I don't see what else this scene is doing, I guess. Demonstrating the closeness that Suren and Gaoshun have to Jinshi from a very young age? Sure, you could say that. This line here's probably got a little bit more of an ominous tone as well. If somebody hid the toy, he would cry like the world was ending. Is something going to happen to Mau Mau? If something happened to Mau Mau, potentially from Lacan, would Jinshi... Is that a way to get to Jinshi? Again, that's what Lacan's doing as well. Lacan knows that Jinshi is close to Mau Mau and also has one over on Jinshi. He's manipulating everybody. He's blackmailing people and that kind of thing, right? So I guess this is where this little metaphor goes to the nth degree. Fixating on one thing that is not a luxury that Jinshi gets to have. Maybe, again, this is this future Jinshi stuff and about his importance and that kind of thing. He can't have the simple life with Mau Mau and that kind of thing because of his higher social status. Again, kind of the opposite problem. You both can't find love in each other because of each of your relative predicaments. Yours a lot more intense, obviously, but you've clearly got some shit going on as well. Moving into the final conversation of the episode here, this is where most of the meat would be, you would say. Pardon the pun, after the chicken skewers as well. But Jinshi opens here with the question of, is life at the palace so bad? This brings into question the same thing we've been talking about for a long time here now. What is the real difference between, again, the rear palace and the brothel? Not much. They both have experienced very similar problems, as it turns out. And again, on the surface, Mao Mao has a nicer room now. She, gets time off when she wants time off and that kind of thing. It seems better than, her life in the rear palace at least. But no, my family's at home. My adoptive father, we say here as well, which is a nice little confirmation, which is cool. Mao Mao showed a little bit of vulnerability here, showing how much she actually cares for her father. I thought you only cared about apothecary stuff. No, I have other interests and that kind of thing. And no, actually, I tsundere out. I mostly like him just because he's a good teacher. He knows lots about medicine. Then from there, we go into him talking about his knowledge of medicine and that he's a eunuch and that kind of thing. That puts some things together in your head. Again, these are good questions to ask. Why is somebody so remarkable working as a pleasure district's apothecary? This is really fun as well. This is actually great. This is fantastic. Look at Jinshi's posing here. Who does that remind you of? Mao Mao, because their roles are reversed, right? You're the one that's doing all the deduction here, right? You're the one that makes the heartbreaking discovery at the very end of the episode. You're the one in Mao Mao's shoes, even from a storytelling perspective. That makes this really, really fun. So again, you hear from Mao Mao, you glean the knowledge that her father is a eunuch and also extremely talented in medicine, and you start putting things together, right? This obviously is exacerbated by the very end, where you learn the information that you learn as well, and choose not to act on it. You're very much mirroring Mao Mao in this episode, even up to the point of, the posing and the mystery discovery and that kind of thing. I mean, obviously got the social status element, but that's a really fun connection as well. That's quite fantastic. So Mao Mao must have put this together as well. She must have made a connection here because, again, he was made a eunuch by the previous Empress Dowager, the former emperor's mother. How did you only recently learned that he even came from the rear palace, that he was even there in the first place? So you must have made this further connection somewhere, that it was by the decree of the Empress Dowager, right? Well, this is a very quick one too, and I don't know if it eventuates to anything. I guess we mention it somewhat early next episode as well. But Mao Mao is under the false pretense that Jinshi is disguising himself so he can go chase some fucking tail. So he can go to essentially another brothel. Again, you're already making the connections this episode that he actually does indeed have a penis. So you go from there and you work it out, right? But your deductions are incorrect. I don't think he's going here to fuck. It's not what he needs to do here, I don't think. It's something else entirely. But again, that I've already talked about the mirror between Lacan and Jinshi as characters. This only reinforces that as well, because these are, men are gonna men. They're going to go to the pleasure district and they're going to seek these things. Even the ones that I like, even the good ones, still have this wired into them and so forth. Again, on some level that is correct, but also, again, I think you're a little bit dismissive here. I don't know what he's doing there. Again, if he's not going to tell you, then he's not going to tell you, though. I don't know, Mao Mao doesn't really pursue that line very much, and instead Jinshi takes control of the situation, the conversation here, and starts to discuss Vertiger's house. How do you know the high-value customers, or any particularly important customers? Then how does one decrease the value of a courtesan? And we get this, I love this look. We also get a similar look next episode that I'll definitely pause on as well. Just like, again, your brain's always just ticking away. You know what certain people are getting at and what certain information certain other people may have. You're already suspicious of Lacan and his placement in the outer court, right? It's not a stretch for you to then put the pieces together of why is Jinshi asking this question? Lacan must be involved, thus the look. I think, yeah, that's quite clever. Again, obviously the connection as well. It's like literally your mother that you're talking about as well. So This has been something that happened in the past to decrease the value of a courtesan, even probably other examples through your life at the Verdigris house as well. It's not a pleasant thing to talk about. So here we explain that, okay, from a very young age, if you're a servant girl at the brothel, you get kind of scouted. If you're pretty, you get super scouted, right? And they get separated from the ones that aren't pretty. Okay, so already value based on looks, very good. So let's imagine this is like I don't know, some kind of diagram, right? You start off, you have girls. Girls go into system. They are either hot or not, and then if they're hot, they get to move on, right? And then you go, okay, do you have talent or not? Are you smart? Are you shrewd? Are you that kind of thing, right? Can you entertain high-value guests with parlor games and so forth instead of, just selling your body? So from those hot girls, you also have to be talented, right? And once you get there, you get to keep your virginity, essentially, right? Something, also the flower metaphor there as well, if you want to talk about deflowering as well. From there, those are the most high-value courtesans, right? Those are the ones that have the most societal clout in this little subsection of society, right? They will have the most value. Their virginity is very important to this value as well. It costs a year's salary to have a tea with these particular courtesans at some time as well, which is a lot of money, more than Lacan can afford. A very, very overt metaphor here as well. Some retain their chastity until one day they're bought out. We have a red flower literally being like pulled apart there, broken at the stalk. Losing that purity, you losing virginity, easily half their value, and then here's the connection, right? A pregnancy would reduce it to nearly nothing. Now, again, we connect that to the conversation with Lacan from the previous episode or the episode before. You should ask somebody from that world if they would know how to decrease the value of a courtesan. Then you put that together. Why is Lacan asking that question? Why is he so interested in Mau Mau? The audience, of course, has the knowledge of the annex as well and the lady that's in there and the specific connection that Mau Mau has to her. It's a fantastic reveal. It's devastating. I don't know what you would call it. It's a again a trademark plot twist in anything is I am your father, right? But this has so much more weight to it. It's so much more disgusting than anything of the sort, right? It's just a very, very well done television, and gives me the heebie-jeebies. I do not like it. Also, particularly like the framing here of like the pan shot upwards towards the face there from the kind of abdomen, I guess you would say. Again, this is when Jinchi makes the connection. He's got his little Mau Mau costume on. He's being the detective here today. And then, kind of cut to the credits from there. So that's terrible. But moving swiftly onwards here, we have episode 18, continuing from where we just were. Oh yeah, and most definitely the lighting has changed. I don't know what changed the lighting between the two episodes, but it certainly did occur. Again, like this really frank look back and forth between the two characters as well. You're trying to hold it together, which we mentioned later on, which is very, very Mau Mau. I love it as a character decision, actually. You cannot let any emotion show to Jinchi on this subject. You can't tell him any more than you already have. You can't indicate any personal involvement here. It's all very matter-of-fact. It's all very business. As always, don't get involved. Don't get emotionally involved. Don't confide in anybody, keep it all bottled inside. Again, will this be the correct tact in the long haul? Is that the place you're looking for? Now, if you'll excuse me, even in the voice acting here, you can almost hear her almost choking up even a little bit, so pretty subtle there, I would say. The grab of the arm as well, making things more intense. You're really going to go now, because again, you've put things together. You know what she just went through. You learned some things about her. You now feel immense empathy. You feel very sorry for her. Sorry for everything that happened. You're really going to leave now? Yeah, I mean, it's going to ruin your little plan. Again, all business first. No emotion, right? Cut off at the eyes. No emotion. And then as soon as Jinchi fades out of the picture, it's fine. I pulled it off with no apparent emotion. We see Jinchi go away. I would love something like a tear in the eye here for Mau Mau or something, but instead we play it a little bit more business-like, I would say. Again, you're still under the impression that Jinchi's going in there to fuck. He's not going in there to fuck. He has other business to attend to, I'm sure of it. Again, why would Gao Shun set him up with all this stuff to go fuck? He doesn't care. Anyway, whatever. Okay, now we have terrible nightmare time, so congratulations, we're here. The kind of scars here, scabs, I don't know what you'd call them. The wounds on the hand in bandages, the holding down of the baby's hand that we also saw in the opening as well, which I really liked. The murderous intent in the mother's eyes. Little baby Mau Mau predicated on the eye color as well. Probably even some other elements of the face structure here. Now, we've definitely seen this before. We saw this in... Remember where the flowers were rotating around and there was that little montage? Yeah, most certainly we saw this frame there before as well. I never saw the baby, though. I didn't know who you were stabbing. So, okay, I mean, this is a pretty tough subject to speak about, right? But, okay, the implication is that Lacan, you know... I don't know if I can say the word on YouTube. I'm pretty sure. He raped you. That's pretty bad. We don't like that. In essence, your value in society is also tied to your ability to sell yourself to clients. So because of this thing, it decreased your value in society to nothing. So he took everything from you. It's also implied that somewhere along the way, you also got a venereal disease. I'm unsure if from Lacan or someone else. It's unclear. So you're like literally dying now as well. We have this child here who is the symbolization of all these feelings given manifest. There's also, again, like, babies are stressful at the best of times. Like, I can't imagine what you're going through at the moment, wanting to kill your own baby. Like, it's just, this baby is the result of everything wrong that happened in my life. So why not kill it? Why not take it out on the baby? But again, I mean, Mau Mau didn't die, so she mustn't have stabbed the baby. She must have loved the baby on some level. And there's a tragedy to that, too. Yeah, again, a lot said with a little, I would say, there with that scene. A lot to read into. This seems like a recurring nightmare. It's something that you've had quite often, but maybe was, more prominent because we talked about it yesterday with Jinshi. Dad seems pretty cheery, but he wants Mau Mau to go to Vertigra's house if she's not busy today to just check up on a few things. I don't know, I guess the reason why Mau Mau is there... Oh, it's to deliver the stuff to Mum. In the annex. Okay, sure. It's nice here that Mau Mau gets to catch up with Pyrin and Mei Mei and all the other courtesans as well, all their friends, which is good. I don't know, I'm not really reading into this conversation between these two that much. They're just kind of arguing over money. I don't think there's much else in it after the reread there. Either way, Mau Mau's off to the annex. Everybody here knows what that means. The looks on the faces. Yeah, pretty terrible. And yeah, now I guess that the audience has a lot more knowledge and this is less... I guess, in the background happening. This is more out in the open, more being addressed. We get to see the actual room and what's inside it and who's inside it in all its glory, right? We get the privilege of actually seeing the actual reveal now. Okay, so she used to chase me out of the room hatefully, but I guess she doesn't have the energy anymore. My theory for a long time was that she was in a coma of some kind. That doesn't seem to be the case. Again, not particularly familiar with syphilis, but I'm imagining it's just manifesting in a way that's sapping your energy and you're barely being kept alive by our good friend Luhrmann. Thus, most of the time you're zonked down and don't have the energy to do anything, but sometimes you'll get up and you'll do other stuff. Sometimes, metaphor stuff, poignant stuff, like playing that little game of Go as well, which we saw in the opening. The creepy part is the eyes open the entire time. She's there, but she's not there, that kind of thing. Who else does this remind you of? Definitely when Mau Mau was caring for Lady Lifa, I would say. Understanding how to work with somebody and administer medicine to somebody that's borderline unconscious, right? That kind of stuff. Anyway. Clearly, rewatching this show would reveal a bunch of things to me again, right, from the very start. There's a really poignant line there from Mau Mau as well. Giving her medicine at this point is the only thing that I can think to do for her. Like, again, Mau Mau has been hated since her birth based on something that wasn't even her fault, even remotely slightly, right, by her own mother. The only way that I can repay her in turn is through my skill as an apothecary. There's nothing I can do as a daughter or a family member to remedy what has happened before. The only thing I can do is put on my kind of apothecary coat and work from there. That is tragic. That is fucking tragic. I can never have a true connection with my mother on a level, Maybe, again, all this stuff in the past in the show about mothers and children is definitely hitting home for Mau Mau now, for sure. Oh, even that one scene at the end of the Lady Lifa episode 4, where for but a moment Mau Mau rests and then Lady Lifa goes over to her and gives her, a little pat on the back, a little bit of love, just a little bit of something that she's probably never gotten before from her own mother or gotten sparingly. Tragic. new tragedy on that episode for sure. I guess while we're here as well, recontextualizing earlier episodes in the show with the knowledge that we have now, well, this conversation with Mei Mei here in a second as well, and about how she's still holding out for her happy ending and her fairy tale, that kind of made me think back to episode 3 and why why Mao Mao and by extension Gyokyo had such a strong reaction to a woman actually being able to do this in this world. I think that is deeply, deeply powerful now. Because again, Mao Mao lets it happen. Mao Mao figures it out and she lets everything happen the way that it happens, right? And again, that's for the greater good. But again, that is something that you want on some level. You want to be able to feel love for another person. Gyokyo definitely wants that. Do I ever get the feeling that she's truly in love with the Emperor? Probably not, if I'm going to be honest. And of course, Mei Mei, with that very poignant scene coming up in the episode as well. So yeah, there's a ton of stuff there for sure. Yeah, shoutouts to the show. It's very good, and it makes me very sad. So now I'm trying to put some timeline stuff together. So back in the past, Verdigris House used to be less legit, that kind of thing. This particular courtesan caught syphilis, but it was already in an incubation period by the time that Luomen got there and could have changed anything. So essentially put a ticking timer on her life, something like that. If he'd known about the illness, he might have been able to treat her. Also, what am I seeing there next to you? Because this is implied to be the courtesan in question, definitely based on the costuming. Little person next to you, right? No, probably not. I was imagining, because I'm trying to put the timeline together. Because when would Luomen have left the rear palace? Would that have been in the immediate aftermath of what happened with the whole Arduo situation? So would that be close to 17, 16 years ago? Mao Mao herself is like 16? That then wouldn't make sense. Are you pregnant now? Again, I don't know why I'm so fascinated with this side of it, but I am. I don't know. She had to serve customers to live. That was like her job. A few years later when the rashes started to reappear. Okay, alright. So maybe she caught it even before Lacan, and then it was still just in a incubation period, and then the rashes started to reappear later in life. Again, I don't understand much about how the disease worked, especially in a 16th century context. Ever since she got the sores and that kind of thing, people obviously know it's syphilis. She can't even do her job anymore, so she just stays in the annex out of the sight of the customers, sores continuing to spread, eventually becomes bedridden. No, but she's like covered in sores when Mao Mao is a child, based on that flashback at the start of the episode. So, again, I'm trying to put together the timing of Lacan, syphilis, childbirth, Luomen, Mao Mao getting stabbed. Putting all that together, I don't know the order, but again, none of it really matters. I'm just being fucking nitpicky. Piling on the tragedy here, we have you humming a little tune as well, which I'm sure won't be anything later in the show. I'm sure I won't come back to this scene and absolutely be devastated. That certainly won't happen. Also love the hiding of the eyes here, the hiding of the eyes overall, until a certain point. This little servant girl then tells us that Lacan is here, the weirdo with the monocle. Alright, don't come out here, Mao Mao, hide in here. Again, Mao Mao's not stupid. Mao Mao's not a dum-dum. She knows what that man's relation is to her. As long as I stay put here, that man, again separating, he is not my father, won't come out here. But again, you hear the name of the, the weirdo with the monocle, and you think it's time to go. Get out the pieces and have a game, which again, very, very tragic. This is the point when we get to actually see her eyes as well, of course. If we pop back here ever so slightly. Right there, you actually get to see her for her a little bit more. And then that line there, stupid woman. Yeah, and all the tragedy comes through. Fucking terrible. Of course, Mao Mao's feeling like this, and of course Mei Mei comes through to cheer Mao Mao up some more, which is nice. Now, there's a thing here that gave me the heebie-jeebies for a moment. Who entertained Lacan? Well, it was me. I'm the only one that can. So you're the only one that's in the same realm as Mao Mao's mother is, right? In that same kind of sphere of courtesan. Which makes me think something terrible may happen to you at some point along the line, which would make me feel terrible. So I hope that doesn't... I'm getting bad vibes. I don't know. I feel like something terrible is going to happen to somebody at Verdigris House. I feel like, again, there needs to be more here for Mao Mao to finally snap and fucking go ham on some of these fools and start to use that talent instead of just hiding. And apparently Mao Mao is getting that offer again I don't know what that means in this context. Is it that offer specifically from Lacan? If so, then no, I'm not doing that. If it's that offer from the old lady, then still don't do that. But again, comes with a little bit more of a comedic context, which I guess you would know from this frame. I hope it's the comedic version. I hope it's, hey, you should become a courtesan, and not, hey, you should go live with Lacan. Because don't do that. Oh, no, okay, from this line, it's definitely about Mao Mao becoming a courtesan. Okay. Yeah, this kind of stuff really piles on the pain as well. Maybe you should consider the offer, Mao Mao. It's not often that everybody, you get everything that you want as a courtesan, right? You're still holding out for something, I get the feel here, right? Like, just a little bit longer doing this job, and then I'll be able to do what I really want. Clearly, you're not invested in whatever the hell's going on here, but just a little bit longer having to do that kind of stuff, and I'll achieve my dreams. This is absolutely set up for tragedy. They're gonna do something to fucking Mei Mei. I can't believe that. Can you believe that? I can't believe that. They're gonna do something to her, like, soon. That's crazy. By them, I mean the writers as well. They're gonna, pile on the pain. Specifically for Mao Mao, it's to make her do something. Again, if what Mei Mei has in mind there is love, if what she's holding out for is love, then I can't understand that, right? I choose not to delve into those depths of her mind, paired with this kind of water metaphor, right? Delving into the depths of the ocean, the deep ocean there. I don't feel any, I guess, resonance with anything there. I can't resonate with that same feeling, because love, that's the emotion I'm sure I left behind in the womb of the woman who birthed me. Again, not my mother. That's the woman that birthed me. She's not my mother. No connection between her and her actual biological parents. But again, calls Luomen father all the time. Again, obviously the water stuff comes along with them bathing as well, which is just all very clever. It all just links together very nicely. I do like this face on Mao Mao, right there. It's nice to feel loved sometimes, as they offer to wash her back and that kind of thing. I don't know, it's nice to feel like I have some people in my corner, my day ones, Again, and they like to dote over her. Again, I just can't help but feel a sinking feeling when I see stuff like that. They're just going to... Something terrible is going to happen. Oh yeah, Jinshi even confirms it there as we move away from that scene. I definitely wasn't in that section of town for the thing that's similar to the Pleasure District. I wasn't there for the whole, prostitution situation. I was there for something else. Again, Mao Mao doesn't know that, but Mao Mao should know that. Anyway, we'll figure it out next week, I'm sure. I choose to see this scene here as well. This is the kettle. I don't know what it is. The jug that Lacan gave Jinshi to give to Mao Mao. It's a souvenir from a weirdo. I'm choosing your reaction here to be, I'm burying my head in the sand. There's clearly some significance to this, right? Just arigato gozaimasu and then straight back to work. That shot of her running away, that lack of reaction. But from the context of that conversation with Lacan, you know that there probably should be a reaction there. So what gives? Even here during this conversation, even though the conversation with Suren is quite, I guess, tame, bland, you're still focusing on that. You can't help but think about everything that represents. There's definitely more significance there. I thought working would get my mind off whatever I'm working through, but turns out not the case. Can't help but continue to think about whatever that kettle is, that jug, and its connection to Mum. Well, not Mum, the woman that birthed me. Specifically here, Mao Mao is also growing stuff in the maintenance shed where she shouldn't be growing it. Just ask Jinshi to give you a room. Well, it's not my place to ask for a room. Well, Mao Mao, you seem apathetic, but you're very aware. You're aware of your social status, probably more than anybody else. I guess what Suren's trying to say here is, okay, you may be of lowly birth and so forth, right? But that doesn't mean that people of, upper class birth are inherently different from the start. Everybody's the same. All humans are the same on some level. Nobody knows how a person's life can twist and turn, of course. Separating everything based on status can lead to missed opportunities. Again, maybe you should do something. Again, it seems like it's building up. The proverbial kettle is about to boil. It's about to overflow for you. I feel like there's been a build-up of bullshit that you've just been letting pass by, where you're going to put it all together and put your ass on the line here. I think it's going to involve whatever this scene is with Jinshi and this ritual next episode, if I was to put my cards on it, Yeah, Mao Mao's about to snap. It mightn't look like it, but she is. Either way, here she's at the outer court fucking pharmacy place. She's never been here before. There's so much shit that she just wants to like look at and play with. But again, not her place to do so. She's just, I don't know, it's like me going to like a hobby store or something. I just want to like look at all the stuff. I'm not going to buy anything, but looking still fun. She goes full on goblin mode here, which is great. Little cat mode. And again, always in the presence of one Surei. Feels like she's always judging Mao Mao. Again, we'll talk more about you in time, but it feels like you two have a lot in common. So from here, we put a lot of stuff together. She's at the guardhouse. She was near the military wing last time. She asked me not to be here. We see later that she's growing herbs and that kind of thing. She's restocking the medicine cabinets. She's at least in that kind of world as it pertains to the military wing, right? We smelt her before. She smelt like herbs. She smelt kind of bitter, so that must be because she works in that kind of area. This guy here laments that a court lady shouldn't be doing this. So you had to get her a specific set of drugs and be courting them around, be like carting them back and forth between here and the military wing? Is that what's happening here? Or is there more? A court lady shouldn't be doing this insofar as you now know something extra that she's doing that she shouldn't have to be doing. Question mark. Does that inform why she looks like she wants to murder somebody later on? A court lady shouldn't have to be doing this. It also seems that she has a broad dislike of Mao Mao, that being Surei. But I think maybe, is that just the Jinshi thing? Does she just like Jinshi? Probably not. Something else to it? Rival apothecary? I don't know. Yeah, again, there's so much of... this is definitely where we're going. Like, there's so much stuff that you're just letting pass by, that you're not commenting on, that is big sus. Why should a court lady not be doing that kind of thing? You just let it go. You look for a second, and then we cut to the next scene. We are building up to a Mao Mao explosion soon. Very, very soon. We then get to thinking about Jinshi. Why does Jinshi want potato flour? Why does Jinshi take long baths the day before he goes to work or whatever? So he gets assigned work every few weeks. He takes long baths the day before. Burns incense before leaving. He only eats vegetarian food. It's like some kind of purification ceremony, no? We've seen a very similar hat in the opening, of course. Headdress, I guess you would say. Yeah, something's up with Jinshi. What was that meeting? Why does he do these things? Why does it seem like Lacan has one over on him? All these questions will have answers. Are eunuchs allowed to perform such ceremonies? It's unclear. Maybe he's not a eunuch. I don't know. Also, he was made a eunuch from the decision of his own, like, grandmother? No, because he's not a eunuch. Why would she want... Anyway... You're relating Luomen and Jinshi, but I don't think Jinshi's a eunuch like that. Kind of mirroring Mao Mao here is Jinshi just kind of thinking about things. And Gao Shun, did we ever have such a skilled eunuch that was, an apothecary? I don't know. I think Jinshi's put together the connection. He knows what's going on there. Maybe now the only person he can put together like that is Luomen. Again, Luomen was the one that assisted in the birth of Jinshi as well. Or specifically didn't assist in the birth of Jinshi, right? Because he had to leave. And then Jinshi on some level is the reason why Jinshi on some level is the reason why Luomen had to leave and the reason why he became a eunuch. I don't know. So Jinshi's cooking. I don't know what he's cooking, but he's cooking. You know who isn't cooking? Fucking Lacan. So Lacan's just here to be smug. Again, he has one over on Jinshi. I don't know how, but hey, I'm sure you learnt what I meant from the conversation before. Lacan, you play a lot of dirty tricks. How rude. I don't want to hear that from a thief. What do you mean thief? Did Jinshi steal something? Oh, stole Mao Mao. Okay, I spent a decade convincing that old lady and you stole her out from under my nose. Okay, so you continually go to the old lady at Verdigris' house and say, hey, can I have Mao Mao? Hey, can I have Mao Mao? And then, no, Jinshi comes through and steals her per se. So you want your prize returned? No, I'll pay. I'm not keen on repeating my past mistakes. You're a fucking sick fuck, you know that? And if Jinshi refuses, I have nothing. I have no levers I can pull in that regard. You can count on one hand the number of people who can defy someone as high up as you. I'm just concerned about what my daughter would think is all. So again, there's the confirmations for everything. You're Mao Mao's father, of course, or biological father, I guess I should say. I think what's happening here is that you know Jinshi's identity and you're threatening to reveal it if you don't get what you want. which is Mau Mau. And Jinchi feels like he's forced into a corner because of this. Either way, he goes through and he drinks his glass of wine and then just fucking leaves. So then, of course, okay, so I think this is all about Jinchi's identity being revealed. Somehow, fucking Lacan has learnt this, probably similar to how Mau Mau learnt it, if I'm honest. Jinchi can't have that revealed no matter what, to the point where he's willing to give Mau Mau over to this guy that is fucking creepy as fuck, right? Because then we have the next scene, right? Could you let her know I'll be visiting her sometime? Jinchi goes and tries to let Mau Mau know this fact, and he gets a certain look back. There's an official that wants to meet you sometime soon. It's this weirdo I've been telling you about. His name is Lacan. That cut to the wide, right? And let me frame by frame this almost, right? Okay, there's the first look. That's the look she's giving. Not good. We have that for a few frames, probably 2-3 frames there before this one, the more prominent one. This is the look that Jinchi is getting back because of what he's suggesting. Of course, Jinchi is taken back by this, and then, yeah, I'll turn him down somehow. I've never seen Mau Mau look like that. She's serious about this. She does not want to confront this. She made herself clear, I would say. But again, this blank face on it. She's trying very, very hard not to feel. And then Mau Mau almost runs away because he found out, and then I'm off to here. Just kind of my legs took me here. I don't know how, but I don't know why, but I'm here. Almost over to her happy place. She knows there's medicinal herbs over here. Let's try to do some more work to get my mind off everything that's happening. She then happens upon Tsurure's little garden. Tsurure discovers Mau Mau has a little weapon in her hand as well. Oh no. Brandishes said weapon to go and fucking murder Mau Mau. Oh my god, you got dirty hands in my garden. But then they're kind of okay on a level. I'm not going to actually try and kill you. This is an unofficial garden. I'd advise against frequent visits, but I don't care if you're here sometimes. Are you in charge of this place? Who knows? I'm just allowed to plant what I want here. You are in charge of this place. You just don't want to claim it. Yeah, she's literally maintaining the garden. She's pulling up all the weeds. I'm not one to talk, but she doesn't seem very excitable. Yeah, you're telling me. Jesus. And then the music becomes ominous. What are you planting? What are you planning almost? A medicine to resurrect someone. Okay, so this is clearly an indicative line. Mau Mau's reaction here is important as well. I'll talk about it in a second. But I feel like Lacan has slighted somebody close to you and you're looking for revenge, and that is your medicine to resurrect someone, right? That is what this overall kind of ominous tone to the scene is indicating. That's what this line is indicating. I feel like you're plotting some kind of revenge, you know? But hey, where does Mau Mau, have this reaction to a medicine that would resurrect somebody, right? Is there somebody in her life that she would like resurrected? No one that I can think about specifically, because she doesn't seem to care that much for her mother, and her mother's also not dead. If it was something that could cure her disease, potentially, that would be good, but doesn't exist. It's to resurrect someone. Who do you want alive that's dead? Yeah, I don't know, unless it's more just like a curiosity as an apothecary. But I would imagine it's more of a character decision. I don't know, weird. Either way, that little thing about resurrecting someone was a joke. How good of an apothecary are you? A little while from now, I'll be planting some morning glories here. Alright, let me look up morning glories and what they mean. Positivity, good fortune, the dawn of a new day. A little while from now, I'll be planting some hope here. I'll be putting some hope into this situation. Just let me do it. Let me do what I have to do, and I'll give you hope. I do like the line as well. How good of an apothecary are you? Because I could use you in my little plan as well. I could use Mau Mau's skill to poison somebody. That would be cathartic. That would be very funny. Either way, from here, vaguely ominous music plays. There's a very slow, deliberate pace to the scene. You're carrying a sickle. I can't help but feel like you're on the warpath. Like you're gonna fucking murder someone. Again, I've heavily theorized Lacan. And again, Mau Mau's not stupid. She's not a stupid girl. She must realize it on some level what all of this means. And then from there, the episode ends. I wanted to have a brief look at the preview. Not obviously look at it completely and totally, but at least on some level a little bit. Again, we see Mau Mau here. We see that. We see that. We see you running around and looking and figuring things out with the pipe as well. Mau Mau's going to figure some shit out very, very soon. It feels like a lot of this arc has been building up to next episode and maybe the next one after that. It feels like that's when a lot of this stuff that seems relatively ancillary at the time, like the pipe and the everything and Lacan's whole plan, that's when everything's going to come out and it's all going to kind of fold into place. That's what I feel like the show's going to do, at least. Just one last part right here at the end. I feel like these were really important episodes reveal-wise, and I just wanted to put the, I guess, alert out there to not hesitate to comment. I would really appreciate reminders of certain moments where other things connected to other things. So again, with this reveal about Mau Mau's origins and that kind of stuff, how does this link into other scenes of the past that seemed kind of out of place or random? Please alert me. Please allow me to make those connections. I really want to experience the show like that. I really want to take those insights forward as well. Again, I'm not going to be rewatching the show from the start, at least, before I finish the series, I would say. So again, this would be the only way I could be reminded of that kind of stuff. So again, if you feel like it's important, I guess this is the public service announcement to remind me of such things. But yeah, show is so very good. Remember when I wasn't sure about the show, like early? Yeah, I changed my tune on that one. This is very, very good. Yeah, I don't know what year you would consider this, like anime-wise. Like when did Apothecary Diaries come out? Because it's kind of that split year thing. But very, very, very close to anime of the year. I must say, 2024, very, very good overall. Very, very good. There is some contenders for sure. We'll leave it there for today. Obviously, it's hard to say enjoyable episodes, but I thought they were very good television, which I guess is the goal there, of course. I feel bad. I feel bad about what happened in the past, but hopefully we can murder the guy. That sounds like a good compromise. Let's murder him. Also, I don't know what Jinchi's doing. Something with a ritual or something? Anyway, weird, odd. We'll figure it all out next week. Thanks for watching thus far. Patreon, of course, if you want to be 1 week ahead. Discord, like the video, subscribe, and I'm out of here. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. Goodbye.